Tragic twist ends football star's dream, Diogo Jota's unbelievable loss. Before we dive in, kindly hit the subscribe button and let us know where you are watching from in the comment. Started like every other match day. The crowd was electric, flags waving, flares burning. Diogo Jota, Liverpool's golden boy, stood on the pitch with fire in his eyes. At just 27, he was poised to become the face of European football. But what no one knew, what not even his closest friends suspected, was that Diogo had been hiding something. Something that was about to explode into the public eye. The match ended with a win. Diogo scored the decisive goal. Cameras caught him celebrating, arms raised toward the sky, as if thanking someone or something. That night, he didn't go home. Instead, he drove to a small town outside Lisbon, alone. Hours later, his car was found, engine still warm, parked outside a crumbling farmhouse. Inside, authorities found evidence that would turn the football world upside down. A woman, dead, and a bloody jersey, Jota's. When the news broke, the world was stunned. Diogo Jota involved in homicide investigation read the headlines. Fans refused to believe it. Teammates called it a mistake. But as details emerged, the story twisted into something far darker. The victim was identified as Beatriz Lima, a 22-year-old psychology student. And not just anyone. She was Jota's half-sister, a secret sibling no one outside his inner circle even knew existed. Their mother had kept her hidden for years, the result of a brief affair before Jota's father passed. But Jota had reconnected with her privately. Beatriz had been struggling. Mental health issues, substance dependency. Jota tried to help, until she ended up dead. The scene was messy. Blood spatter on the walls. A smashed phone. Handwritten notes. Pages torn from a journal. Scattered across the floor. One phrase repeated again and again. He lied. Over and over. And now he'll pay. Police arrested Jota 3 days later at a training facility in Porto. He didn't resist, but he also didn't speak. His silence only deepened the mystery. What happened in that house? Was it a suicide? An accident? Or something far more sinister? What detectives found next would send shockwaves across the nation. The farmhouse was a relic from another time. Its walls were chipped, paint peeled like scorched skin, and the windows held layers of grime that dimmed the daylight even at noon. The scent inside was a mixture of old wood, mold, and something newer, something coppery and sharp. Blood. Crime scene technicians worked in near silence. Only the clicks of cameras and the buzz of fluorescent lights breaking the quiet. What they found inside was far more than just a lifeless body. It was a story, written in blood and fragments, and the deeper they went, the more twisted it became. Behind a false panel in the farmhouse's hallway, investigators uncovered a hidden compartment. Inside were dozens of personal letters, some addressed to Diogo, others unsigned. There were photos of Beatriz, alone, smiling with Diogo, and some of her crying. But what alarmed the detectives most were the sketches, dark, haunting drawings of a man standing behind her in every frame, faceless, looming. Tucked inside a journal was a final entry, dated the day before her death. He thinks he knows everything, but he doesn't. I found out what they did. I found the documents. He won't be able to protect him this time. Who was he? And what documents was she referring to? The plot thickened. News coverage exploded. Every sports outlet, every gossip blog, every talk show ran the story for days. But details were inconsistent. Some claimed Jota confessed. Others insisted he was being framed. The public was divided. Some saw a grieving brother trapped in a nightmare. Others believed a dark family secret had finally surfaced. But the truth, investigators discovered, was far worse than anyone imagined. Detectives traced Beatriz's last known online activity. Her search history was unsettling. Criminal record lookups, legal adoption laws, Portuguese football club corruption. She had contacted a journalist 2 weeks prior, offering documents for an exposé. The journalist, Ana Correa, initially dismissed her as unstable, until she went missing for 3 days. When Ana resurfaced, she was shaken. She told police Beatriz had shown her files. Files that included names, bank statements, transfer logs, and photos. Photos of a boy who looked exactly like Diogo Jota. The theory that began to form shook even the most skeptical detectives. Beatriz believed she and Diogo shared more than blood. She believed they shared a child who had been taken from her years ago and passed off as part of a quiet adoption to protect reputations. She believed Diogo knew, and more disturbingly, that he had helped cover it up. Investigators turned to the farmhouse basement. Old, cluttered, and dusty. It hadn't been used in years, but in the corner behind a pile of discarded furniture, they found a safe. Inside were original hospital birth records, altered forms, and a small photo album. The first photo showed Beatriz, pregnant. The second, a newborn. The third, that same newborn in the arms of a woman whose face had been burned away. But the final photo made investigators freeze. It showed Diogo, at 21, sitting on a hospital bench holding a baby. His expression was blank, but his eyes looked terrified. Jota's lawyer issued a statement. Diogo Jota has done nothing illegal. He loved his sister and sought only to protect her. We will fight these accusations fully. But the statement did little to stem the rising tide of suspicion. Then came the anonymous tip. A call made to police from a blocked number. Check the Lisbon Foster Registry. March 2018. Name, Tiago Lima. Officers traced it. They found the file. The boy existed. Tiago Lima. Registered without a birth father. Mother, Beatriz Lima. Placed into foster care under emergency status. No next of kin listed, but a sealed court order had blocked any adoption inquiries. Signed by a high-ranking official with ties to FC Porto's legal department, Jota's former club. Detectives turned their attention to the club. Allegations of hush money, covered-up scandals, and off-the-record medical care had long haunted European football, but few had real proof. Beatriz, it seemed, had stumbled into one of the deepest cover-ups yet. She had gone to that farmhouse to gather everything, to leak it, but someone got to her first. Forensic results came back. The blood on Jota's jersey? It was Beatriz's, but there was something strange. It had been applied post-mortem. No spatter pattern, no arterial spray, instead as if dipped. The medical examiner confirmed Beatriz had died from blunt force trauma to the back of the skull, not a knife wound as previously speculated. Meaning Jota's bloody jersey was a prop. Plant. Pressure mounted for Jota to speak. In a televised hearing, he finally broke his silence. With trembling hands and a voice barely audible, he said, I found her already gone. I tried to help, but she wasn't breathing. Panicked. I didn't kill her. I swear to God. I didn't kill her. He said the jersey had been left there. He had no idea how or why. But he admitted he knew about Tiago. He knew Beatriz had a child, and that the child had been hidden. But what he didn't say spoke volumes. When asked if he knew who the father was, he stared at the floor and said nothing. A bombshell DNA test was ordered. The results would take weeks. But while the world waited, new evidence emerged. An encrypted USB drive mailed to Ana Correa with no return address. Inside were audio recordings. Beatriz, speaking to someone, a man, her voice, frantic. They're going to erase him like they erased me. I won't let them. Diogo's scared. He's not evil, but he's weak. The man replies, you have no idea what you're doing. People get disappeared for less. Let them come, she says. Let them try. The final audio file ends with the sound of glass shattering, and footsteps, then silence. Police believe she recorded it the night she died. But who was the man? Voice recognition software returned a chilling match. Miguel Bastos, former head of security for FC Porto, known for cleaning up incidents quietly, never convicted, always protected. He vanished days after the farmhouse discovery. Interpol issued a warrant, but he was gone. Meanwhile, Tiago, now 5, was taken into protective custody. The court ordered emergency DNA testing. The results stunned everyone. Diogo Jota was not the father, but someone in his family was. A cousin, João Mendes, a fringe figure in Jota's entourage, known for managing logistics and media complications. João was arrested attempting to flee the country. His involvement tied back to payments made from Jota's account to a private medical facility in Coimbra, where Beatriz had given birth. Jota claimed he'd been blackmailed. João had threatened to leak the entire story and pin it on Diogo unless he paid to keep it buried. The final twist came in the form of a suicide note. João Mendes was found dead in his cell 3 days after his arrest. He left behind a one-page confession. "It wasn't supposed to go that far. I just wanted the problem gone. I didn't hit her. I just pushed. She fell. Panicked. Diogo didn't know. I used his name. I used everything." The charges against Jota were dropped, but the damage was done. His contract with Liverpool was terminated by mutual agreement. Endorsement deals vanished. Fans were divided. Some mourned what he lost. Others blamed him for not coming forward sooner. He released one final statement before disappearing from the public eye. "I tried to protect my sister. I failed. I'll carry that forever." And just like that, one of football's brightest stars faded from the... For more chilling true crime stories, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. The world expected Diogo Jota to fade quietly into exile. After João Mendes' suicide, after the dropped charges, after the contract termination, he had nothing left to say. But silence didn't mean safety. For weeks after João's death, strange things began happening. Ana Correa, the journalist who had helped bring everything to light, reported being followed. Her tires were slashed. Her mailbox rifled through. An envelope appeared on her windshield one morning. No message, just a photo. It showed her walking her dog, taken from behind. Blurry, close. Police provided temporary protection. But Ana knew better. This wasn't over. Diogo Jota relocated to a private residence in northern Spain, far from the media chaos. He told no one, no interviews, no statements, but he wasn't alone. Inside that rented villa, behind closed doors, he met with two people, his mother and a man named Enrique Duarte, former intelligence analyst turned private investigator. Duarte was ruthless, resourceful, and well-connected. And Diogo had one question: who really killed Beatriz? Because despite João's confession, something didn't sit right. Diogo had known João his entire life. He was manipulative, yes. A liar, yes. But a killer? Not likely. Duarte started from the USB drive. He traced the voice recordings, cleaned the audio, and reconstructed partial metadata from the file headers. It led him to a file storage server used by an obscure holding company, Nova Silva Holdings, registered in Panama. Nova Silva had ties to real estate, offshore banking, and several sports entities, including agents who once represented players at FC Porto. One of the names that surfaced again and again, Miguel Bastos. Interpol's warrant yielded nothing. Bastos had vanished. But Duarte didn't believe in ghosts. He believed in patterns. Bastos had once done cleanup in Argentina after a doping scandal involving youth players. Duarte booked a flight. Meanwhile, back in Portugal, Ana received a second envelope. Inside, a single USB stick. No note, no sender. The files were encrypted, but Ana passed them to Duarte through a secure line. Once decrypted, the contents shook them both. Video surveillance from inside the farmhouse, time-stamped 48 hours before Beatriz's death. In the footage, João Mendes, but not alone. Standing beside him, Miguel Bastos, and someone else, a woman, blonde, mid-40s, face obscured by sunglasses. She handed Bastos a manila envelope. He opened it, nodded, and walked down the hall. 15 minutes later, João emerged, visibly shaken. He wasn't alone anymore. A child's voice could be heard. Tiago. Duarte and Ana went public with the footage. The news rocked Europe. Who was the woman? FC Porto issued a public denial. So did UEFA. But leaked emails showed internal memos referencing containment protocols and external threats to brand stability. They weren't just hiding a crime, they were managing it. Back in Spain, Diogo was slipping, isolated, paranoid, haunted by dreams of his sister's screams. He stopped eating, barely slept, and then one morning he received a letter, handwritten, no return address. We know you're still talking. Keep quiet, or the next game you play will be in a box. He showed it to Duarte, and then he disappeared. 2 days, no calls, no trace. His villa was empty, doors unlocked, his phone on the kitchen counter. A security camera nearby caught the last image of him. Hoodie pulled over his head, walking to a black sedan. Driver unidentified. Interpol opened a missing persons file. But Ana didn't wait. She followed the trail to Geneva, where Nova Silva had a satellite office. There she found something no one expected. A second list. A list of settlements. Payouts made to families of underage players, interns, medical assistants. Hush money. One entry stood out. BL, maternal, Lisbon, 150,000 euros. Child custody sealed. Compliance, Bastos. Closure, Mendez. Beatriz Lima. The child? Tiago. Ana's exposé dropped the next day. Headlines exploded. Inside football's shadow network. Bribes, babies, and blood. UEFA launched an internal review. FC Porto faced potential expulsion. Sponsors began pulling funding. But no one could find Bastos, until Duarte tracked an offshore account used to charter a private jet. Destination: Argentina. He followed it. In Buenos Aires, Duarte found an abandoned safe house. Inside, documents, IDs, photos of Diogo, and in a back room, blood. But no body. Was Diogo alive? The blood type matched, but volume suggested non-lethal injury. Then, a message arrived on Duarte's burner phone. Tell Ana to stop. He's safe for now. Push further and he won't be. The sender? Unknown. Number untraceable. Ana refused to back down. On a live stream watched by millions, she said, "If Diogo Jota is dead, the football world has blood on its hands. If he's alive, then someone is using him as leverage. Either way, we won't stop." That same night, her apartment was broken into, but she was ready. The intruder was apprehended. Portuguese, former security contractor. In his pocket, a photo of Ana, and a USB stick labeled "Final." On it, a video. Diogo, alive, bruised, eyes swollen. "Don't look for me. This goes deeper than you know. It's not just me anymore. They have him." Cut to black. Who was him? Tiago? Interpol widened the investigation. European football governance came under fire. The story exploded globally, and still Diogo remained missing. But somewhere, in the shadows of power, a game continued. One not played on grass, but in boardrooms, bank vaults, and blood. And Diogo Jota was now the ball. In the heart of Zurich, behind a curtain of polished skyscrapers and golden plaques, Ana Correa stood outside the UEFA headquarters with trembling hands and a press badge clipped to her coat. It had been 72 hours since the video of Diogo Jota surfaced. 3 days since the world saw his battered face and cryptic warning. And now, the sport's governing body was forced to confront its rot. But inside, things moved slower. The press conference opened with platitudes: integrity, transparency, ongoing investigations. But no one mentioned Jota, no one mentioned Tiago, no one uttered Beatriz Lima's name, until Ana raised her hand. "Where is Diogo Jota?" she asked. "And what is UEFA doing to find him?" Silence. Then a response. "We are cooperating with Interpol and national authorities," said the spokesperson. "We cannot comment on active investigations." Ana didn't buy it, because behind the press-friendly front, Duarte had discovered something else. Something buried in UEFA's private communications servers. A leak from a former systems analyst turned whistleblower. Documents. Dozens. A full operational map of clubs involved in covert payouts. Underage pregnancies. Drug cover-ups. Human trafficking of youth players from Africa and South America. Every file was branded with the same project code. Project Bloodline. Duarte sat hunched over a laptop in a safe house in Seville, cross-referencing dates and wire transfers. Project Bloodline was more than a scandal, it was a system, a coordinated effort to buy silence, redirect blame, and erase liability from top-tier European football. And at the center, Nova Silva Holdings. The Panamanian firm wasn't just laundering money. It was facilitating blackmail. One file listed specific players and leverage points. Next to Jota's name, family link to subject BL. Sensitive paternity risk. Controlled via JM. Escalation protocol activated. Status, monitor. Duarte's eyes froze. Escalation protocol. That meant Beatrice's death wasn't an accident or panic. It was policy. Interpol, under public pressure, reopened Beatrice's case. Ana provided them with the leak. But just days after submitting her statement, Anna's editor, Paulo Mendez, was found dead. Staged suicide, gun in hand, pill bottles open. But the forensics didn't match. No residue on his fingers. No fingerprints on the gun. Ana wasn't just reporting anymore. She was a target. Meanwhile, in a rundown clinic in Montevideo, Uruguay, Diogo Jota lay on a stained mattress, feverish and pale. A former trauma nurse, smuggled in through contacts of Duarte's, treated his wounds. He'd been kept sedated for weeks, shuttled through safe houses like cargo. But now he was awake and angry. "Where's my son?" he asked over and over, because the one truth Diogo hadn't told anyone, not even Ana, was that Tiago wasn't just Beatrice's child. He was his. Beatrice had lied about the father, lied to protect him, lied so Diogo could have a career. But in the end, all it bought them was silence. And now his son was gone. The woman from the surveillance footage, blonde, mid-40s, was finally identified. Her name, Clara Vasquez, a former UEFA ethics consultant turned risk operations advisor for Nova Silva. She had connections to nearly every Black Ops payout listed in Project Bloodline. And she was in Lisbon. Duarte went after her. What he found shocked even him. Clara was holding children. Not literally, but figuratively. Duarte infiltrated her office and accessed her hard drives. One folder labeled Special Units contained photos and dossiers of at least 6 children, each with high-profile connections. One of them was Thiago Lima. Another, the daughter of a French midfielder under criminal investigation. Another, a child believed to be the product of a rape covered up by a Syria team. They weren't just silencing stories, they were controlling bloodlines, future liabilities, potential scandals, wiped before they grew up. Duarte copied everything, and then he ran. Back in Montevideo, Diogo Jota, now fully conscious, made a choice. He would go public, despite the threats, despite the danger. With Duarte's help, Ana arranged a live interview, encrypted and masked, broadcast simultaneously across 4 continents. In the video, Diogo appeared on screen. Gone. I sunken, but alive. My name is Diogo Jota. I'm a father, a brother, and I've been silent too long. He detailed everything. The blackmail, the child, the cover-up. He named names: Clara Vasquez, Miguel Bastos, and 2 unnamed UEFA executives. He held up a photo of Tiago. This is my son. And if anything happens to him or to Ana or to Duarte, the world will know why. The stream went viral. Over 100 million views in the first 24 hours. The next day, Interpol issued global arrest warrants. UEFA suspended all members named in the report. Nova Silva's offices were raided in Panama, Geneva, and Lisbon. Clara Vasquez fled, but was captured at the Swiss-Italian border. And Tiago, rescued, in a safe house in the hills of northern Italy, unharmed. Ana finally published her full series, titled Blood Money FC, The True Cost of Silence in European Football. It won her a Pulitzer. Duarte disappeared. Jota was granted full custody of Tiago, but he never played again. He turned down every offer, every interview, every memoir deal. Instead, he moved to the Azores with Tiago, bought a small cottage, and coached local kids for free. He never gave another statement except one, carved into the wall of the training pitch. The game they play up there isn't football. 3 years later, the world had moved on. The media frenzy died. UEFA had restructured. Nova Silva Holdings was dissolved. Clara Vasquez was sentenced to 35 years in a Lisbon courtroom surrounded by silent stares and unforgiving camera flashes. The final conviction brought a strange sense of closure. But for Diogo Jota, closure was a myth. He had returned to Portugal, but not to fame, not to football, to a coastal village in the Azores where no one asked for autographs, and no one brought up Beatriz or Bastos or Project Bloodline. Just Diogo and Tiago. The boy was now 8, bright, inquisitive, a left-footer with a wicked curl. Local kids called him Jotinha, a nickname born in secret admiration. He didn't know the whole story yet, only pieces: a sister who died, a father who disappeared and came back, a game that changed their lives. And Diogo planned to keep it that way for as long as he could. But the past doesn't bury easily. One autumn evening, as golden light spread over the rocky cliffs, a woman approached the pitch. Ana Correa. They hadn't spoken in over a year. "I need to show you something," she said. Diogo nodded. They sat by the water. She handed him a flash drive. "What's this?" "The rest of Project Bloodline," Ana said. "A second archive, hidden in a separate node. Password protected until Vasquez's conviction triggered the release." Diogo hesitated. "Why are you showing me this now?" "Because it has your name on it," she said. Again, the file was labeled Operation Encore. Inside, communications between Nova Silva operatives dated months after Diogo's public testimony. Audio files, strategy documents. One memo read, "If Jota resurfaces, contingency plan required. Reintegration into program not advised. Observation recommended. Containment preferable." Another memo, "Subject TL demonstrates high athletic potential. Monitoring advised. Secure guardianship options explored." They weren't finished. Even in dismantling, the machine had left plans. They wanted Tiago. Diogo stood up. "No more," he said. Ana didn't argue. They spent hours by the water, talking, not about fear or loss, but about hope. About what Tiago could grow into if given peace. About what Beatriz might have become if someone had protected her instead of silencing her. Ana finally asked the question lingering for years. "Do you regret going public?" Diogo looked toward the horizon. "Every day," he said, "but I'd do it again." Weeks later, a youth tournament kicked off in Lisbon. Quietly, no sponsors, no cameras, just kids and dreams. Tiago wore the number 21. He didn't score that day, but after the game he walked off the pitch and hugged his father. "You proud of me?" he asked. Diogo smiled. "Always." And in that moment the weight of everything, the blood, the lies, the silence, lifted, if only a little. The game had taken much from Diogo Jota, but in the end, it gave him something back. Not redemption, but for more chilling true crime stories, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel.